Man United's new goalkeeper shocks the fans. The Red Devils are targeting a Premier League star. Liverpool make an offer for Real Madrid's top talent, and shockingly, Perez is open to selling. Garnacho on his way to Aston Villa. Juventus swoop in for 2 United players. Is a deal about to go through? All that and loads more in today's episode. But before we get into it, as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Ready? Let's jump into the latest transfer rumours. Few people saw this coming. Manchester United's next signing turning out to be a goalkeeper. Not a forward, not Brian Mbeumo, not yet another go at plugging that right flank hole once and for all. No, a proper goalie. But according to reports from the Argentine press, the new king of the Old Trafford box is on his way. His name's Emiliano Martinez, and yeah, it's that World Cup hero, the one who saves penalties like a machine and then dances with the trophy as if he's at his cousin's wedding bash in Cordoba. Clarence says Martinez has already given the thumbs up to the move, and lo and behold, there's a release clause in his Aston Villa contract. Just £21.6 million. In today's mad market, that's basically 3 tins of Coke and a top-shelf OnlyFans sub. Though Ineos lot aren't about to chuck the full whack down right now, obviously. They're eyeing installments, nice and comfy, all respectable, like taking out a loan. The English know their onions when it comes to deals. Meanwhile, Onana's still not kicked that habit of eyeballing balls into his net rather than catching them, and they're already giving him a subtle shove towards the door. Officially though, Onana's staying, and word is he's even patched things up a bit with Ruben Amorim. But let's be honest, you and me know the score. Keeper rivalry, especially with a bloke like Emiliano, ain't healthy competition. It's shape up or ship out or warm the bench. And Onana hates the bench, even if half the fans have been wishing he'd stay planted there for good. Amorim apparently gave the go-ahead for Martinez in a heartbeat. Makes total sense. Emiliano's consistent, got bags of charisma, and doesn't gift-wrap goals for the opposition every other match. Plus, he's a marquee name. United still love a bit of PR, come on, especially after that car crash of a season last season, where even the curtain raiser had you peeking through your fingers. On top of that, the Argentine fancies a bigger stage, and at Villa, for all Emery's solid setup, trophies are something you tour museums for, not lift in finals. Funny thing is, 2 years ago, United sniffed around Martinez, but went for Onana instead. Now, new owners, new gaffer, new thinking. Argentine outlets reckon the deal's proper close. Contracts are getting ironed out. Martinez has waved goodbye to the Villa faithful, and it all points to him kicking off the season in Manchester, not Birmingham. It's not a blockbuster move, but it's a shrewd one for sure. As for what comes next, gripping stuff. Does Onana hang about, rot in the League Cup, or pack his bags and ask for a ticket out? We'll see. Vinicius Jr. looks like he's finally on his way out of Real Madrid after all. And you know what? I'm not shocked one bit. The Brazilian's got such a massive ego, thinking he's the main man in the Galacticos setup, that he's demanding wages from another planet. Florentino Perez is looking at it like, sod off, mate. The Whites have a firm line. Either VINI dials down his greed, or he can bugger off wherever he fancies. Vinicius bombed at the Club World Cup. Just flat out cocked it up when it mattered. And now you've got Xabi Alonso rolling in with his tactical masterclass. Carlo Ancelotti let the lad do whatever on the pitch. Bomb down the wing, take blokes on, have a pop. Counterattacks, transitions, 1v1s. Paradise for a player like VINI. But Alonso's building a machine. Discipline, positional play, ball possession. VINI and discipline? Oil and water, mate. They don't mix. You get the drift. When a player doesn't slot into the gaffer's system, the cracks start showing. VINI's used to being the star who gets away with murder. Lost the ball? No worries, it's VINI. Didn't track back? Come on, he's a genius. But Alonso won't stand for that bollocks. Everyone grafts for the team, not the other way round with one Brazilian stealing the show. And according to Diario Sport, Perez is ready to flog Vinicius if he doesn't back down on the wage demands. The Brazilian doesn't seem arsed, he's stalled talks and is sniffing around options instead. Ben Jacobs, and this bloke's no mug, he's a proper insider on Saudi Arabia, is talking mad numbers. The Sheikhs are set to splash €350 million on Vinicius. That's a new world record, right there. For that cash, you could buy half the Portuguese league, or one overhyped Brazilian. But if Vini fancies sticking in Europe, he's got suitors. Ficharges reckons Manchester City and PSG are lining up bids, and I'm just howling at that. City and PSG, proper structured outfits. In Manchester, Guardiola's got a Swiss watch ticking away, every cog in its spot. What would Vini do there? Charge down the flank and cough up possession? Pep'd have him sorted by the second session. PSG's the same story. Luis Enrique loves his order and team ethic. Remember how he sorted Mbappé? And Vinicius is worse with the star syndrome. It'd be a right circus. The funniest bit? Vini's backed himself into a corner. Contract runs to 2027, club's up for extending. But the lad wants more dosh than Mbappé. He's fuming. He's on par with the Frenchman, not above. Good luck with that, pal. Saudi'll chuck $1 billion at you, sure. But your career, done and dusted. Playing against local amateurs for silly money, dodgy thrill for a 25-year-old. Me? I reckon Real are bang on. Can't bend over for one player, no matter how flash. Vinicius is quality, no denying it. But he's no Ronaldo, not even Benzema. Yet here he is, throwing demands around. If the Brazilian doesn't get real, let him count his billions in the desert, each to their own. Garnacho's finally shipping out of Manchester United after all. And you know what? The Red Devils are practically shoving him out the door themselves. Started off asking 70 million, then dropped to 60. And now they're happy to let him go for 50. It's like haggling at the market, over the odds at first, then, by the end, they're flogging it for peanuts just to shift the stock. According to Court Offside, United are so keen to offload the Argentine that they're willing to slash the price to 50 million quid. And if you're wondering why the rush, simple. They need the cash for a rebuild. Ruben Amorim wants his own lads in, not the leftovers from previous bosses. And Garnacho doesn't seem to fit the Portuguese gaffer's blueprint. The juicy bit is Chelsea have already pulled the plug. The Blues were sniffing around hard at first, then just changed their minds. Reckoned 50 million for a 21-year-old winger who's banged in. How many this season? Doesn't matter, not enough. It's too steep. They've already got half a squad of these young guns who promise the world but deliver sword all yet. Aston Villa, though, they're proper fired up. Unai Emery's eyeing Garnacho like, here's the bloke who'll blast us into the top 4. Quick, cheeky, loves a dribble. Paired with Watkins, he could cause havoc. But there's a hitch, the dosh. Villa's fair play rules are a bit wobbly. Splashed out in past windows, now they've got to juggle the books. Sources say they'll need to flog someone to fund Garnacho, or maybe grab him on loan, like they did with Rashford. Funny old game. Manchester United dishing out their players on loan to Aston Villa, like big bro lending toys to the little un. Here, have a go with mine. Speaking of loans, you lot watching without subbing, it's like you've got my channel on free loan with no buy clause. I can see the stats, you're here, you keep coming back. Algorithms don't miss a trick. Come on, let's make it official, yeah? Hit that button and we'll pretend I didn't catch you freeloading. Turns out Garnacho's a principled sort. Turned down Saudi Arabia and the Italians from Napoli. A source close to the player says he's putting sporting growth over cash grabs. Yeah, right. At 21, they all say that. Then at 25, they're off to Saudi for a fortune. But for now, the Argentine wants to stick in England and keep playing in a top league. Bayer Leverkusen were in the mix too. That's where Ten Hag's at now. But Garnacho's not exactly buzzing to link up with the Dutchman again. Overall, Garnacho's situation says it all. Lad's only 21, got Europa League final experience, rapid and skillful. Yet Manchester United are ready to bin him off for relative peanuts. Speaks volumes. Either the club's lost faith in his upside, or they just need the funds for fresh faces. For Aston Villa, this could be a belter of a deal. If they can sort the price and their finances, that is. Garnacho in Villa's attack, extra pace and chaos. Emery loves that type, knows how to get the best out of him. Personally, I reckon he'll bloom more at Villa than United. Less spotlight, more room to breathe, solid coach. And the team's all about attacking footy, perfect for a winger. If Villa can haggle it down to 40 to 45 million or snag a loan with must-buy, top-notch business. United can go hunt for a replacement, though with their scouting, they'll probably splash 80 million on some nobody who turns out worse than Garnacho. Juventus, who slept through the entire last season, seems to finally be waking up. The old lady's got some fresh ambitions and is starting to prowl the market for players who've seen better days but once grabbed the headlines. And here we go, a duo from Manchester, Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford. Scary, right? Now imagine, this isn't some meme compilation from Twitter back in Eric Ten Hag's days, but actual targets for the transfer window. By the way, folks, before we dive into the details, don't leave the video without giving it a reaction. It really helps the channel out. Give it a thumbs up or down, ideally right now, and drop a comment on what you think of this Juventus plan. We'd be dead grateful. Now, on to the nitty-gritty. Juventus have genuinely had constructive talks with Sancho's agents and have already asked about what it'd take to get him on a permanent deal. On top of that, they've had a peek at Marcus Rashford's file, just in case, because the flanks need strengthening. And as usual, the budget's tighter than a drum. Sancho's a whole saga on his own. He was on loan at Chelsea recently, running hard, putting in the effort, even outshining a few, but still ended up back where he fled from, Manchester United. And at United, unlike him, Ruben Amorim's now in charge, and Jadon's got zero chance of game time there. United want shot of the player at any cost, and according to Sky Sports, they're open to offers around 15 million euros. That's just ridiculous when you think what they paid Dortmund for him. But we're not here for investment lessons. This is about brutally resuscitating footballers' careers. Meanwhile, there's feelers out for Rashford too. The lad who once single-handedly saved United in the Europa League is now barely scraping mid-table Premier League level. Mid-last season, he clashed with Amorim. Then it was a loan to Aston Villa and some decent play, but nothing spectacular. Still, Juventus have made the first moves. Preliminary talks happened on Wednesday. Rashford's pricey, and he's got big ambitions to match. He fancies Barcelona, ideally Champions League football, and definitely not London. Funny thing is, Barca aren't stirring at all, and the only real movement around Rashford is coming from Juve. What makes the old lady's interest a bit odd? Simple. The club's already got issues with Vlahovic. Will he go? Will he stay? It's all up in the air. And now they're trying to sign two blokes whose careers are on the slide. But there's a twist. Juventus reckon that with these names devalued, they can pull off some smart deals. The club needs flanks, quick goal scoring, preferably with a British twang. So Sancho for 15 million. That looks sensible at the very least. Rashford? Risky, expensive, but if he clicks, why not? All in all, next week's shaping up to be a scorcher. In Turin and in Manchester, Juventus have latched onto a script codenamed Restart for the nearly broken. Cheap, but with potential. Like a supermarket pizza in the evening. Sitting there, no one wants it, but come morning, it could be a hit. While some clubs are still sniffing around cut-price players with expiring deals, Liverpool are going big-game hunting for Rodrygo. And no, this isn't a wind-up. The Brazilian from Real Madrid is being seriously eyed up as the next blockbuster signing for Anfield. All this while, Arsenal have officially bowed out of the race for the lad. The Gunners had talks, dangled 90 million quid, bit their lip, and backed off. Too messy, too pricey, too drawn out. In the end, they went for Madueke and Gyökeres instead. Mikel Arteta's flipped back into Moneyball mode. Liverpool, though, they're the opposite. A winger with big numbers, Champions League know-how, at an age primed for an explosive reboot. That's pure dynamite, especially with who the club might lose this summer. Darwin Núñez, who's got fans more in tears than cheers, he's on the brink of shipping out, and Luis Diaz is turning heads at Bayern and Barcelona. If even one of them packs his bags, Rodrygo shoots to the top of the list. And not just talk, the club's ready to go all in to snag him. The picture's shaping up nicely weird. Real aren't turfing anyone out, but they're quietly sticking "make us an offer" signs on a few players. Things have shifted big time since Mbappé rocked up. Throw in the rise of Gonzalo Garcia, and you get why Rodrygo's now fourth choice. His role at the Club World Cup? Warming the bench with a glum face and the odd sub appearance that changes zilch. Makes sense, the bloke's thinking. Maybe time to test the waters in a new team and a new league. But Real aren't under the cosh or skint. They can afford to sell only if someone's coughing up a proper wedge. The snag? That same fat sum, 100 million euros, is what Liverpool want for Diaz. Neat symmetry, innit? What's not symmetric is my stats. 80% of you lot watch the videos but somehow aren't subbed. Let's sort the balance in the universe. You hit subscribe for me, I keep churning out new vids for you. Unlike Rodrygo's transfer, this one's all on you. No haggling with Real required. Almost a swap without the swap. But it all hinges on timing. If Bayern properly drop their interest in the Colombian, Rodrygo could be off to Liverpool. If not, Madrid will keep playing the waiting game right up to deadline day, so Anfield, with its history, clout, ambitions, and squad refresh, it's the perfect stage to become starman. Especially as Arne Slot's eyeing him not as a straight winger, but a roaming attacker with flank duties. Mini Mané, if you like, just with that Madrid polish. Yeah, the road to a deal's still a slog. Talks are set to be tricky, and the outcome rides on others, mainly Luis Diaz's fate. But one thing's for sure, Liverpool haven't been this close to a player of Rodrygo's calibre in yonks. In an era where you've got to rebuild sharpish and ditch the deadwood, a move like this isn't just a boost, it's a statement, and by the looks, Anfield's geared up to make it.